Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Singapore Sevens, the opening contest for these two sides, South Africa versus Spain. Now, as we get to the business end of the competition, we are at the last leg before the finals. The South Africans, they are confirmed as one of the top 8 sides unless something really drastically goes wrong, which it can't. I don't think Great Britain can make enough points, so they are confirmed. I just checked it in, but a side that are not confirmed through to the next stage is actually Spain. They are sitting on 33 points. The next highest from them in terms of when they would get out of that relegation zone is the USA, who are sitting on the 44. But for this contest, it's going to be such an important one to get a start off in a competition on the right note. South Africa, they've had some good games recently, but they've also struggled against some sides that I honestly feel they should have been able to beat relatively comfortably. Looking through at the starting lineup, I think a lot of people would also agree. In the starting side, it is Kieran Nokia, De Human, Shilton van Wyk, Selvin Davids, Tiem Pretorius, Christy Hrobela, and also Impivisa, the last man in the Blitzboks starting lineup. For the Spanish, it is going to be Manu Moreno, Paul Pla, Josep Ceres, Alejandro Leforga, Nicholas Nato, Tobias Saint Trapanga, and also Jamie Manteca, the last man in the Spanish starting lineup. We have got hi all and Hamish says, Robert, welcome in. Hey, Hamish, it's been forever, says Xavier. Welcome back, mate. Hope you are keeping well and hope you're excited for a massive weekend. When is Argentina playing Oz, says Katzenel. It is only just around the corner. They are 2 games away from taking them on, but I believe it is going to be in about 43 minutes time or somewhere around there as the kickoff for that contest. But the 2 starting sides, like I mentioned, there's a lot of skill in there. Selvin Davids going to be extremely important for the Blitzboks. Paul Pla, the captain for the Spanish. Now, Spain are one of those sides that they can cause upsets, and they often do get themselves wins over top opposition, whether that's New Zealand, whether that's Fiji, when they did knock Fiji out of a competition. I believe that was only a few legs ago. They're green and gold making their way out of the tunnel now. Spain wearing their away kit or their alternative strip with the white. In Singapore, the crowd haven't quite bundled in as of yet, but it's a massive stadium, so of course it's going to take a bit to fill it up. I never knew when Sevens, or never know when Sevens is. It seems to happen more than Union itself, says Xavier. So yeah, there's about 7 or 8 leagues, I believe, of the overall 7 circuit. All you need to know is the next leg is going to be taking place at the end of May. So only just around the corner from the finals, where we will get to see some sides get relegated, where we will get to see some sides get promoted. It's going to be an important competition, that is for sure, actually happening in Madrid, which means we will be lacking a lot of sleep at the time that it is taking place. But Selvin Davids now getting ready to kick this one off for the Blitzboks, going from left to right. What time is it in New Zealand, says Michael? At the moment, it's actually not too bad. It's 6 p.m. New Zealand time. So we've got plenty more games taking place, including Super Rugby. We are covering Hurricanes versus Waratahs. That is at 7 p.m, so an hour away. And then also some more games of the Sevens after that, alongside 2 other games beforehand. So we're going to be live for quite a bit of the evening, but it's going to be De Human who does kick that one off, and it has bounced into touch. So that is a successful kickoff from South Africa. Now the line out will go the way of Spain. It did look like Selvin Davids was going to kick that ball off, but actually switched up at the last minute and gave it to De Human. And I don't know whether or not that was enough to distract Spain. It's going to be thrown in. Paul Pla now. It's knocked on early on. Not ideal for NATO. How have the Queensland Reds been? They've been all right. They've had some good games. It seems to be up against New Zealand opposition. They do struggle at times. They are playing the Crusaders tomorrow, and we are actually going to be covering that game on the channel. So yeah, that will be a very intriguing one, seeing as it is actually taking place in New Zealand. South Africa currently sitting on 58 points, Spain on 33. Like I mentioned, it is heavily reliant on how the USA go throughout this competition. That will determine whether or not about 2 or 3 sides still have an opportunity of making their way forward. That is a fantastic run off the back of the scrum from Selvin Davids, and that will be the first try of the contest for the Blitzboks. Now after a minute, making it 5-0. About to be 7. Nice easy kick. He has brought up his 9th try, which has been quite a common saying that we've used throughout the first stages of the Singapore Sevens. I believe we saw 2 players for the USA were able to bring up their 9th But Sullivan Davids just seeing the space, such an important factor in this Blitzboks side. Like I mentioned, they've got the speedsters on the outside of someone like a Shilton van Veek. They've got the size of Christy Hrabala. But Sullivan Davids seems to be that glue that holds it all together. Come on, Spain. Says Peter Stowers. That's going to make the score 7-0 at the moment in favour of the Blitzboks. Can they keep on building on that? That's the big question. Sullivan Davids getting ready to kick this one off. Does go up high. It's going to be slapped back into the hands of Paul Plara. It almost looked like it was slapped back by the Blitzboks, but then picked up by the Spanish. Now space in the middle. This is a great run from Josep Ceres. He's looking for that next pass. He's going to be shut down by 3 Blitzboks players on the 22, although now the space. Nato couldn't get it into the hands of Tobias. Sainz Topanga just ended up hitting him in the foot and ended up rolling into touch. But the Blitzboks, they are now going to have themselves the line out from just inside of their own 22. Ready to throw this one here for the Blitzboks. Does look like Sullivan Davids with the man to throw it. Does go over the top to Christy Robala. And a bit of open space goes to the wall. Human, who's gone for the kick in behind, but it does look like a foot race. That's going to be won by the Spanish. That looked like it might have been a player getting tripped there. It was actually going to be a shot off the ball penalty against the Spanish. What happened there? I want to see the replay. Looks like Nokia. I think the South African commentators just said there that Nokia did try and milk that. Yeah, tell you what, he's done a little bit of a football play there, Nokia's. Managed to get the trip on, so he did get taken down and does win the penalty for the Blitzboks, something you don't see too often in rugby. Players trying to get foot tripped per se. But wins him the penalty for the Blitzboks. Now on the 22, Sullivan Davids. Had to throw this one in. Already a 7-0 lead at the moment for this South African. What's the weather's like in Singapore, Hamish? It's looking very nice at the moment, at least from what I can see. Of course, most of the stadium is covered, so I think that the rain won't end up affecting it too much. That's a beautiful inside ball. And now Nokia manages to use his feet that time rather than just tripping over. It's going to be the penalty going the way of South Africa. The wall human. He wasn't back 10, but it wasn't going to matter because he still manages to get over the try line. The wall human. And it is the second try of the match now for the Blitzboks. They are looking very good in the early stages of this competition. It's a nice little loop around play from Human, who did help set up the initial start to that move. Then Nokia. Quick tap taken by the World Human. Ceres was not back 10. I think Ben Breakhouse was about to have that arm out. Break spear, I should say, for the referee's name. But that one has a missed away to the side, so the score will remain 12-0 for the South Africans here. 2 minutes now remaining. We actually talked about South Africa. They actually haven't qualified for the Olympics as of yet. They actually have to go to Monaco in the near future, I think they've just mentioned, so that they do qualify for the Olympics. I believe Kenya are the African nation at the moment who are confirmed to be in the Olympic Games after a few upsets along the way. That was an awkward one. I think it was Laforga kind of got his neck crunched a little bit there. Now a little chip in behind, Sainz Trapanga chasing, but it's rolled into touch, just a bit too much juice on it there off the Spanish kick. 1 minute 10 remaining at the moment. Laforga disappointed with that kick, as you probably would be. Just seemed like giving the ball back to South Africa. Definitely when you're 12-0 down, you need to try and really hang on to that ball. Not have too many mistakes. Now ball is about to be thrown in. Nicely taken by Impivisa. Going back across to the right-hand side, the wall human. Looping around play. And that's going to be an awkward knee one there for the World Human. I think he's just done a hamstring or a knee or something. Looks like he's going to try and continue. It does look like maybe just a bit of a tweak to that left leg. It's going to be another penalty going the way of Spain now. They are only 10 or 15 metres out from the try line. Wrestle down again. Will be Mano Moreno. La Forga going across Spain's back line. Just not quite looking clean at the moment. You know why Kenya not playing in the sevens or season of the sevens? It is because the way that they did it is they dropped 4 sides from the overall sevens competition. It used to be 16 men's side, but then they dropped it to 12. I don't actually really know why. I think it was so that it would be more competitive, but I honestly feel like Kenya should have never been dropped from it. But they have got an opportunity to earn their spot back on the Sevens circuit, and it's coming up in the near future. It is at the end of the month. They will have the chance to face the bottom 4 sides of the Sevens circuit, and if they finish higher in the overall rankings, they will qualify to take part in next year's competition. Right, has ended up hitting Ben Breakspear. Oh. Okay, this is very unfortunate. They did have the knock-on advantage. The ball has hit the referee, so that means that the advantage has to stop. La Forga just asking the question, you know, that's just a unfortunate error that has actually ended up costing them the ball. And are the All Blacks and Samoa qualified for the Olympics, please, Hamish? They certainly are. Yep, those 2 sides. Fiji are. South Africa are not yet. Australia, Argentina, exactly, especially as Kenya have qualified for the Olympics. Thanks for explaining. Says Pixie Dust. But yeah, I honestly really do hope that they make their way back into, you know, that sevens circuit, just because they are always such an entertaining side to watch. And for them to be missing just doesn't feel right, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like they've got to be somewhere in the sevens circuit overall. Well, we will go like this, and we will go like that. There we go. But at the moment, the odds, they're in favour of South Africa, as you would expect, with being 12-0 up at halftime. There's still a lot of game to come, 7 minutes remaining, but I think if there's one more try for the Blitzboks, they will be able to secure the win and probably not allow Spain to get that bonus point, which they will desperately want in such a tough group. Also in this group, got to remember there is going to be France and there is going to be Samoa. They are both playing each other in the very near future. We're only 12 minutes away from that contest taking place, and that is another one we will, of course, be covering on the channel, ladies and gents. We can see there the Samoans and the French both warming up for their contest, which is, like I said, just around the corner from taking place, and it is do or die for the Samoans. They are currently outside of the top 8, which means they will be playing for a spot of their future at the end of the month. Now, second half just about to get underway. It will be Spain kicking off this one. I do feel slightly bad for them with the way that their first half ended. Like I mentioned, they had the advantage for the knock-on, but because it hit the referee, they did have to stop. And in that scenario, normally I would have thought you just end up giving them the scrum for the accidental interference from the referee, whether there was an advantage or not. But the World Human puts it on the outside of Christy Robala. He's going to be a hard man to catch, but Paul Pla looks like he's going to put in a very good chase and drags him down 2 meters short of the line. That is absolutely fantastic work from the Spanish captain, but can South Africa finish the job past out wide? Looks like Tian Pretorius taken down 10 metres out. Shitten Van Veek, he's been very quiet throughout this game. Now Nokia thought he was going to be able to go through the gap. Selvin Davids gets it away, and it's Impivisa, number 3 for the South Africans, scoring the 3rd try of this contest. And that is his 9th of the 2024. There's so many players bringing up their 9th try already in Singapore. I believe that is the 4th player now of the games that we have covered who have scored their 9th try. But great work from Paul Pla to be able to initially stop Christy Hrubala from being able to make his way over the try line. But in the end, just still some very nice passing from the Blitzboks to open up that gap. And in Pivisa, when he has that much space, is always going to be a challenge to be able to drag down. But the kick has gone over. So that now makes the score for South Africa 19 points to 0. I mentioned if we saw one more try, it was probably going to be game over for the Spanish. And I think that that is definitely the case now, unless something really, really drastic happens. Sullivan Davids now to kick this one off. 12 seconds remaining before he has to kick this one. And they're taking their time here, the Blitzboks. They know that the time is not against them, or yeah, it's against Spain in this match to try and get back into it. 19-0 with 5 minutes remaining. Ball in the hands of the Spanish currently. Some nice stepping from Jamie Manteca, but a clean turnover for the Blitzboks leads to Tristan Lades with the ball in hand. And just like that, they've got themselves another try. It was a little bit of a counter-attack from South Africa. They didn't have to work too hard for it either. Just getting in that breakdown, turning it over. I believe it was Christy Robela. No, in fact, it's Impy Visa, just a clean steal. And then Tristan Lades manages to get himself the try. It's about as smooth of a turnover as we have seen in quite some time from MPVC as well. Just the way he was able to get over the ball, almost had it before the man even hit the ground. They're showing there, South Africa have not reached a final in Singapore since 2019. It's been around 5 years since the Blitzboks have tasted at least a silver in Singapore, but before that they are actually two-time champions of the Singapore Sevens. Kicked off short from Sullivan Davids again, nicely taken by Martinez. It's going to be tackled on the halfway line by Zane Davids, a change that was recently made by the South Africans. And something that I've noticed here, and it's quite an interesting one, South Africa, when they are playing extremely good rugby, they can just keep the game rolling in their favour. They don't make many errors. That's going to be another big run here. First touch for a man who has been out for a little while. He's got a beautiful pass away to Shilton Van Fake, who was just short of the line, but that was Dylan Sage, who was back. That one's gone backwards. No, in fact, there is a knock on somewhere in there, so the Spanish will now have themselves a scrum. But something that I've noticed is South Africa, when they're playing well, their discipline seems to be extremely strong. But as soon as a side starts putting them under pressure in the breakdown, and also in general, that is when over the last 2 or 3 legs we've seen South Africa's discipline really just go in the opposite direction that they want it to, and that's normally what costs them game. But speaking of another player who is returning, Siviwe Soyuzwapi. Been a long time since we've seen that man, and it's great to see him back now. Chance in his first scrum since getting back on the circuit, and he's early on going to have to make a tackle here. They're going to wrestle him towards the touchline, trying to get the turnover as well, is unable to do so. Spain only attacking from about 2 meters out from their own line at the moment. That is going to be the penalty now for the Spanish. So they are going to be kicking this one towards the touchline, but with only 2 minutes 20 remaining, they are in a really tough position here, Spain, because they would have to score 3 tries, 2 of which converted just to get themselves 1 point from this contest. So the South Africans, if they can continue to have these kind of wins over the other opposition in their group, points differential, it could be a very interesting one to look at by the end of the competition. But also in their group, like I mentioned, they've got France and they've got Samoa. Siviwe Soyuzwapi knocking that one on, but it's going to be stolen now by the Spanish. Chance to run forward and decides to run straight at Sage, one of the bigger individuals out there on the field. Penalty goes the way of South Africa. That was for not releasing, I believe. Good penalty one by Zane Davids. Now chance for the South Africans to once again be able to slow this one down a little bit. It is Roscoe Speckman. So they might consider taking on the quick tap. Used up about 20 seconds deciding on it as well. Good game management. Little grubber mind sets up for Tristan Lades. Offload to Roscoe Speckman. And they get themselves another try. They're on fire at the moment. The Blitzboks has an 11th try for Roscoe Speckman throughout the 2024 Sevens. It's nice to see someone has not got their 9th try on the circuit, but went for the grubber initially. It was well cleaned up by Tristan Lades. It was a good tackle as well from Spain, but unfortunately not able to shut down that next offload, which when the Blitzboks are at their best, they're able to use very effectively. That was a rough drop kick from Tristan Lades. That one actually almost didn't even go a metre off the ground. Excellent essay, says Julian Moses. And also we got the high Hamish, how's it going? Says Ollie doing very well. A lot of rugby taking place, of course, today. We have got the next game between Samoa and France. Then we've got the game after that is taking place, which is between Argentina and Australia. Then Super Rugby with the Waratahs versus the Hurricanes. There's plenty coming up soon, that is for sure. Now Tristan Lades about to kick this one off for the South Africans and does just go into touch. It's going to be a Spanish line out, so it is actually going right back to where it was kicked from. Another mistake from Tristan Lades off the boot. And it looks like, oh, Esteban Pretorius taking a bit of a knock here. Looks like maybe an ankle or an Achilles of some sort. Referee said that they are able to play on because he is off the field. Didn't look comfortable for him though, Esteban Pretorius. Hopefully he's going to be all right. Tell you what, Spain have got their best chance of being able to score it. And they do get over. It is Valencias who has scored it. Gets it between the posts. They get some sort of reward from this contest. Okay, you have to get up for work, says Juan Pierre Bosch. So hopefully your day does go smoothly. And now getting ready to kick this one off. Nicely done there. That will be the last play of the day. 31 points to 7. The Blitzboks getting themselves the win in this contest. But there is another game just around the corner, ladies and gents. Samoa versus France kicking off in only 3 minutes' time. We will be covering that one on the channel as well, followed by Argentina versus Australia. So we will see you all for the next one.